Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my new Lightning Runemaster, which I played over my 24-hour stream. This build is an absolute blast to play. As always, I will cover every single facet of this build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now the skills I'm using for this new Lightning Runemaster are Flame Rush, of course in its lightning conversion, Frost Wall in its lightning conversion, Runic Invocation, Flame Ward in its lightning conversion, and Lightning Blast. Everything works in perfect harmony. Now, this build is a mana hungry build. So you got to make sure you use your skills when you need them, and you need mana regen on your rings and belt to ensure that you can sustain. And as you can see in empowered content, from a damage output perspective, we absolutely crush. I'm very curious how far I'm going to be able to push this build, and I'm sure this will continuously evolve as I get better with the Runemaster. All right, that was a pretty quick run. Let's do another one. Now let's play a little arena echo, show off some extra enemy kills. So let's start off by talking about Lightning Blast. I know I'm gonna get questions about this. Why not Rune Bolt? And why not the new skill Frost Claw, which by the way, I tested all three again over my 24-hour stream. And I actually had a ton of fun with Frost Claw. That being said, when it came to endgame, I did like Lightning Blast still better. Not only can you use it at negative mana, it also has perfect synergy with Lightning Wall, turning those left and right into little Tesla coils. So for me, I still like Lightning Blast, and it specs way better with Spark Charge, which is what we are using for this build. Now, you might notice when I use Runic Invocation, I jump around. That's right. That's because I've got it set into the traversal mode. And I'll explain why this is important when we go through the passives. But when I use Runic Invocation, it is using the skill from Rune 1, Rune 2, and Rune 3. So you are getting a triple rune effect. That being said, you are using the mana cost of all three. That is why this build is so mana hungry. But it functions really well, and I love actually the double lightning, which is Lightning Bomb. It puts the little bomb under every single enemy. So as far as clear speed, it is unbelievable. It works really, really well. And as you can see in empowered content, we just absolutely crush this. Let's fight a Shade of Oribus. Jump out of there. So again, where we are currently at in empowered content, we should absolutely crush this. So we're going to see how far we can get our Lightning Runemaster. But just to show you against an empowered Shade what this fight looks like. Not an overly difficult fight. I should have mentioned earlier as well, we're spec'd into Twisted Heart. So that is how we are generating so much ward. I was using Stormcarved Testament, which does give you more damage, but as far as survivability wise, we are back using Twisted Heart. Just like that, Shade of Oribus down. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's break down the skills for our Lightning Runemaster, and I'm going to take you in the order in which you should take the nodes, okay? Starting off with Frost Wall. You want 1 point into limit, 1 point into barrier. This is going to make it from a cold skill to a lightning skill, so it's going to slow and shock. Then you want to come across the top and take these nodes. 4 into lightning rod, 1 into charged pylons, 2 into amplified current. This is going to make the left and right of your lightning wall shoot your lightning blast. Then you want to come down, 3 into crystal protection, 3 into boosted kickoff. This is going to give you haste and frenzy, and 1 into prepared ward. This makes it when you walk through your frost wall, it is going to auto trigger Flame Ward. It just makes it so nice. You almost never need to use the skill by itself. You then want to come right here and take Arrival. This makes it when you cast your Frost Wall, your next direct Runic Invocation becomes empowered, so it's stronger and costs less mana. I said that this skill is, or this build is very mana hungry, But if you play your card right, there's different ways to bring down that mana cost. This is one of them. You then want to put your last 3 points right here into Winter, which is going to make your wall bigger and give it a longer duration. Amazing skill for how much it does. Moving over to Flame Rush. Flame Rush. You want to start by putting 3 points into Blazing Flux, which gives you mana efficiency and cooldown. You then want to come down and 2 into Fury Overload, which is going to give you Frenzy, 2 into Lunar Protection, and 1 into Energy. This is going to turn it into a lightning skill. You then want to come down this way and put 3 into Eclipse and 3 into Guidance, which is going to give you some damage reduction. You then want 3 into Solar Rush, which gives you speed and range, and then your last 5 points into Smolder and Burn, which gives you Fire Shred. But since we're converting into a lightning skill, it is now Lightning Shred. Moving over to Flame Ward, and I've built out Flame Ward different for this build. It is going to give us a huge damage boost. You want 3 into Dilation, 5 into Infusion, 1 into Lightning Ward. This turns it into a lightning spell. And this is going to give you 250% more lightning damage. And right here through Flames is going to give you base 10 lightning. Base 10 lightning with 250% more lightning damage. You then want to come up, 1 into Stalwart Defense, 5 into Barrier, and 2 into Buffer. This is going to give you damage reduction and elemental damage taken less as well. Double damage reduction. So you'll be triggering this through walking through your Frost Wall and getting huge damage bonuses and getting huge damage reduction. It all works perfectly, okay? We're gonna go Lightning Blast last. Now we are going over to Runic Invocation, okay? You wanna start by putting 4 into Attuned Approach. This is gonna give you ward and mana refund. Mana hungry build. Very mana hungry. You then want 4 into Power. It's gonna give you a boost. It's a spell that you're gonna get. And then 3 into Word of Lagon, which is going to give you shock chance, but more importantly, it's going to give you base crit chance. You then want 4 into Ruin, which is going to give you 12% per rune consumed, which you will have 3, so 36%. And then we are going to jump around. You want to take everything around here. This is going to give it where it's now a movement skill and less damage taken. Now it's going to trigger skill 1. Now it's going to trigger skill 2. And now it's going to jump forward instead of backward. And then your last point, you want to put it in Elemental Lore, which is going to give you elemental penetration per your intelligence. Last but not least, Lightning Blast, which is also in a slightly different configuration than what I have used in the past. You want to start by 3 into Storm Razor, then 2 into Lightning Attunement. It's going to give you Lightning Aegis, which is very important. Then you want 2 into Arcane Power and 1 into Closed Circuit. I will show how Closed Circuit works at the training dummy later on. But Lightning Blast can now chain to you and allies, granting increased damage and critical strike chance. Then you want 4 into Front Loaded, 3 into Cloud Answer. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 into Front Loaded, 1 into Innate Conduct, which is going to make it where you can use it when you're negative mana. Then 3 into Cloud Answer, 5 into Mortal Capacitor, and 1 into Final Spark. This is going to trigger your spark charges, and your spark charges are going to do so much more damage. Now, the reason why I did not go into overcharge or hypercharge, which I normally do, is that these only work when you cast it. So your Frost Wall cannot use these two. So I spec'd into everything that your Frost Wall can also do by itself, okay? Those are the skills. Now let's check out the passives. My Lightning Runemaster is level 89, and I have all the passive points from the campaign. In the base tree, I have 8 into Scholar, 2 into Arcanist, 5 into Mage Flurry, and 5 into Knowledge of Destruction. In the base tree, none of this is set in stone. You could take a little more lightning if you want. You could boost your ward if you want. You can boost your intelligence by flip-flopping these. Kind of a personal preference. This is how I like it. Moving over to the Runemaster, what you want to do, 8 into Sphere of Protection. It's going to give you some damage reduction in life. 7 into Triumph. This is going to give you a boost to your spell damage. And then you want to come up here and take Unsealed Mana, Arcane Focus, and Transcendence. And this is going to give you a big boost to your ward every single time you cast the spell. but make sure you have at least 60 intelligence. For this combo to work well, you need 60 intelligence. Okay, then you want to come down 8 into Never Late and 1 into Nimbus Walk. Like I said earlier, I'm going to explain why I like having Runic Invocation as a traversal skill. Read this. After using a traversal skill, your next non-channeled spell has additional spell damage and a higher chance to critically strike. And this is doubled if it costs 30 mana. Well, when you put 1 point right here into Nimbus Walk, the spell damage and crit chance from Never Late node now also apply to traversal skills. So you're going to get this bonus Never Late on your Runic Invocations, which sounds crazy. You then want 6 into Ocean, which is going to give you a boost to your mana regen. Again, you want as much mana regen pretty much as you can get, and this is going to be further boosted if you have a Gone rune on, which you always will. You then want 8 points into Ancient, which is going to give you intelligence and cooldown recovery. And then you're going to come down and take these 3 right here: Deception, Orders, and Doom. And we're going to be branding our enemies, and they're going to take more damage. They're going to take more damage, and bosses are going to take, you guessed it, more damage. And you're going to do a little bit of damage over time with your lightning shot. 2 points into Hurricane, and you're going to be triggering this all the time. You only need 2 points in. Really, you probably only need 1 point in because it's a 20% chance. I just put 2 in to make it 40 to make sure it's always up all the time. And then 5 points into Veil, which is going to be ward gain on crit. And you are going to get a boost to your ward, or actually going to get a boost to your crit multiplier based upon your ward when you are fighting bosses or rare enemies. This tree, again, perfect synergy with the skills we have selected. And my last 5 points are actually over in Source, and this is Intelligence and increased spells critical strike chance per intelligence. Again, it just works really well. And the last points that I have, I'm probably going to take some Arcane Momentum, just to boost our cast speed and give us a little bit more of a damage boost. Those are the passives. Moving over to everyone's favorite gear, starting with idols. And there is one idol particular you want to find, and you want to find 4 of them. And that is this idol right here. Increase lightning damage while you have lightning Aegis. Increase lightning damage double if you have over 300 mana. This rolled in a near perfect form if you have over 300 mana is going to get you close to 140% lightning damage for just 1 idol. And then obviously you could times that by 4. It's over 500% to lightning damage. Absolutely insane. I only have 1, and it was a horrible roll, but that is what you are looking for. My other ones are basically one or the other. Okay, those are my idols. Moving over to gear. Now, is there anything that is absolutely required for this build? No, there's not like you have to go hunt this unique, because if you don't have it, the build won't work. Now, that being said, there is some best in slots that are working for me right now. I'm still using my Claim Scepter, and this is rolled into Legendary with more base lightning and life leech. I am using my Enigma that also rolled with more lightning damage, and this helps us a ton with Spark Charge. And then for survivability, we are using Twisted Heart. And I'm going to turn this into a legendary soon with our Runemaster. So those are the 3 I am using. Now I'll go through each item individually, but again, if you want to see the true end game, check out the advanced build planner in the description. Okay, here we go. Helmet, Amulet, Armor, Ring, Mana Regen, Belt, Mana Regen, Ring, Mana Regen, Gloves, Boots. That is the gear. Now let's break down our Lightning Runemaster stats. Like I said earlier, level 89, 69 points into intelligence. You need to be over 60, vitality 26, movement speed 33. Now when it comes to resistances, I still need to do some min-maxing. Fire, lightning, necrotic are max, cold's almost there, but physical, poison, and void are really, really bad. Armor solid on the character at almost 1,000. Ward retention is solid at 341. Now, when I was talking about Lightning Blast, I said I'm going to showcase what it can do at the training dummy. Right now, we've just got one dummy in almost melee range. And you'll see down here, spell critical strike chance 24, critical strike multiplier 261, and increased lightning damage 279. This singular node right here, closed circuit. Let me show you how powerful it is with this build. So now you will see spell critical strike chance is hitting 40, and our increased lightning damage is now high 500s. That's just from that one node. Really, really impressive. Very important for end game scaling. Defenses on this build right now, endurance is only 20%, critical strike avoidance is only 52. So again, lots of work to do around min-maxing, but those are the stats. Now let's talk sustain. This is great, Aaron, but how do I stay alive in endgame? Well, I will show you. You got lots of little bits of sustain throughout the entire build. So again, inside of Frost Wall, you're going to be able to trigger your Flame Ward. And Flame Ward is going to give you 40% less hit damage and less elemental damage taken and a little bit of ward. So you're going to be getting a lot of sustain just by walking through your Frost Wall. On top of that, on your Flame Rush, you are going to get 18% less damage taken. And this will also work after you come out of your Frost Wall. So you got a little bit of sustain there. And then inside of Runic Invocation, since we turned it into a traversal skill, you're going to be having 36% less damage taken on this tree as well. So that is just through the skills. When you move over to the passives, you're going to get a little bit of damage reduction here on protection. And then again, you are going to get tons of ward generation from these two nodes. And then a little bit of added ward generation over here on Jagged Veil. But where you're going to get a big portion of your sustain is through your Twisted Heart. 11% of current health converted to ward when you directly cast an elemental skill. And we are going to be casting Lightning Blast all the time. So when you look at our ward generation bottom left, you will see it in the 3000s, in the 4000s. It's going to be pretty easy to keep this over 4000. It's almost at 5000 now. It's hitting 5000. So that is how you stay alive. Now for me, I need to do some work on getting resistances and crit avoidance and endurance threshold. If I had my resistances, endurance, crit avoidance with everything I just showed you, I mean, we would be an absolute tank. Last little note on sustain right here under mental, you can get a boost to intelligence and bonus damage from crits with catalyst negative. You can get it like at over 50%. So if you're really struggling, you can invest 6 points here, which is going to give you a boost to your sustain as well. Last but not least, let's talk about leveling. Aaron, this is great, but how do I get it from level 1 all the way to level 100 or end game? That's a great question. There's 3 skills you really need to get to monolith mapping. Skill number 1 is you want Elemental Nova. And you could technically take it cold or fire, but I personally like lightning. You probably noticed that. And you want to take this tree first, getting to charge destruction, which is going to give you a boost to your crit chance. And then you could honestly just come up and put it into Arcania, which is going to give you damage and area. The second skill you want to take is teleport. And you want to go down here and grab this tree, particularly these 3 nodes. This is going to make it that when you use the traversal skill, it's going to trigger 3 elemental novas. So you're killing stuff as you move through the campaign. And then you want 4 into Comet Rush so you could use teleport more often. Last but not least, the newcomer to my leveling builds is Frostclaw. Not static, not Lightning Blast, not Fireball. The new skill, Frostclaw. And I would go up right here and turn it into a lightning skill. This skill is amazing for leveling. It looks great. You can make it bounce around if you want to take the bottom tree as well. It works really well. Teleport, Elemental Nova, Frostclaw will get you just those 3 skills to Endgame. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new Lightning Runemaster? Or anything I missed? Is there anything I could do to push this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 2 asks at the end of the video. Ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. I'm hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it, but of course, only if you think I deserve it. And if I haven't earned it yet, I'm gonna work harder for you. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. Thank you to the first 81 members that have signed up. Become an instant ARPG VIP and get Patreon exclusive content at the first link in the description. That's all I've got. Having so much fun with 092 for Runemaster, and we're gonna move over to, I believe, Cold next. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.